We've got a shipwreck, we've got a map, and X marks the spot. Let's see what this mysterious pirate has hidden away. But first we need to get this bee out of our boat, cause we can't get in there. There are tons of notorious pirates with impressive deeds to their names. Terrible deeds, yes, but impressive. Perhaps the most well-known is Blackbeard. With a beard as black as his soul, it reached down to his waist, and he would light slow-burning fuses and twist them into his beard hair to make himself look even more intimidating. Blackbeard, born Edward Teach, began his naval career as a privateer for the British. Privateers were private individuals who owned their own ships and were commissioned by the government to partake in war efforts, primarily through the capturing of enemy merchant ships, which sounds a lot like legalized pirating to me. After the war, he was under the tutelage of Captain Benjamin Hornigold, where he quickly rose through the ranks and became a captain. In 1717, Blackbeard encountered the French slave ship La Concorde. Blackbeard had with him approximately 150 men across two sloops, which is a common single-mast, highly maneuverable and fast small ship. One had 12 cannons and the other had 8. After initiating 2 volley attacks, the captain of La Concorde, Dosset, quickly surrendered. The French crew was already terribly ill with scurvy and dysentery and couldn't defend themselves. Some of the crew voluntarily joined Blackbeard, and others were forced. The rest of the crew and slaves were dropped off on an island and given the smaller of the 2 sloops, which they named Mauvaise Rencontre, or Bad Encounter. Blackbeard renamed La Concorde as Queen Anne's Revenge. He continued sailing across the Caribbean, conquering vessels and adding to his flotilla, which is just a fancy word for a fleet of ships. In May of 1718, Blackbeard and his flotilla arrived at Charleston, South Carolina. For a week, they blockaded the port, seizing ships and taking prisoners. Blackbeard negotiated a chest of medicine in exchange for the prisoners before he continued up the coast. Then arrived at North Carolina, but upon trying to enter Old Topsail Inlet, 2 of the ships, Queen Anne's Revenge and Adventure, ran aground and were abandoned. Blackbeard and his crew set up a base on Ocracoke Island just off the North Carolina coast. But he had become too brazen, too dangerous, and he had to be stopped. And Virginia Governor Alexander Spotswood knew just the man to put an end to Blackbeard's reign of terror. He enlisted Lieutenant Robert Maynard to command 2 ships, the HMS Pearl and Lime, to hunt down and bring to justice the pirates. November 22, 1718. Having found the pirate stronghold at Ocracoke Island, Maynard tried to stop them, but Blackbeard saw him coming and attacked full force, destroying a third of Maynard's force in one fell swoop. As the ships came upon each other, the pirates boarded the 2 HMS ships, using smoke and grenades for cover. But Lieutenant Maynard was prepared. He hid most of his crew below deck. In all the ruckus and all the smoke and explosions, the pirates didn't notice this crucial detail. They fell right into Maynard's trap and were ambushed. But Blackbeard would not be so easily defeated. With pistol and sword, he and Maynard battled. It took at least 5 shots and 20 slashes of a blade before Blackbeard finally fell. Most of the pirates were executed, and Blackbeard's head was hung from the mast of his own ship Adventure, commandeered by Lieutenant Maynard after it had run aground. Blackbeard's flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge, was recovered in 1996. Old Topsail Inlet, where it wrecked, is now called Beaufort Inlet. Thousands of artifacts have been recovered, including 30 cannons, parts of guns, tools such as weights, grindstones, and syringes, plates, and even fragments of the ship have survived. If you find yourself in Greenville, North Carolina, you can tour the Queen Anne's Revenge Conservation Lab. Treasure acquired and the beach has been restored. Let's take our goodies and head back home. We are back at Shipwreck Village, and you know what? I think it's fitting that it's raining because this quaint little village right here, I think it's actually evil. Okay? Because there's that shipped boat, there's that shipwrecked boat, okay? And then there's another one out over there, there's another one right over there, and then there's the one over by the buried treasure. So you know what? I think this village is actually evil. I think those were not pirate boats. I think maybe those were just people just trying to maybe settle somewhere along the coast, and this village already established attacked them. They attacked them, and then that one ship managed to escape and buried the treasure, but then they were attacked, but they had already hid the treasure and they wouldn't reveal where they hid it. And so this village has been posted up here atop the hill on the lookout for any other ships of intrepid explorers searching for the lost treasure. And we found it. And we're not going to give it to this village. No, they're bad people. They're bad. They can't have it. But before they figure out what we've been up to, let's get home. We have made it back home, finally. That was a long trip. And let's take a look at our goodies. So we got the Heart of the Sea, we got a little bit of iron, potion of water breathing. I don't think there was lapis in that one, but there was some diamonds, 4 diamonds in there. And then there was some other stuff that I picked up along the way as well. So we had a pretty good little trip today. Did the history of Blackbeard live up to the legends that you've heard? I kind of think they did, to be honest. I think he was just as impressive, although a bit nasty, of a fellow as the stories have said. Perhaps we will go back to Shipwreck Village and turn it into the formidable place that it really is. But for now, that will be it for this episode. Thank you for hanging out with me and have a great rest of your day. Bye!